guys, today I have a bit of a different video for ya. And it's a video on this lovely old thing. This boy was one of the first LCD televisions back in 2003, and it's been in this house since I've been alive. But, sadly, times are changing, and I'm getting rid of him after this video. So, I wanted to get some footage of it before it passes on. So yeah, this boy is a 47-inch Epson Livingstation. Back in the day, these things costed around $3,000. But to make up for that, it has some cool features. Like this printer here. Yes, a designated photo printer in a TV. It kinda makes sense, seeing as Epson typically makes printers, but still pretty funny. We just have to unscrew this little knob thing. So yeah, this is the printer when you pull it out. You pull it out to change the paper cartridge as well as the ink cartridge. And that's what it looks like when it's out. Sadly, the TV doesn't seem to want to communicate with the printer anymore. I was actually, before this video, trying every possible way to get the TV to print something, and it didn't, which is kinda disappointing. I really wanted to print a few pictures of it before it went, you know? But I guess I'll just have to deal with the ones it printed out a while back, which of those included one of Ironton. So I guess I got all the pictures I needed that were slightly important. Anyways, let's slide this printer back in and get to the rest of the TV. We have more similar panels over here. This one has all the controls for the TV and the printer, if you don't want to use the rather nice remote this TV has. The buttons are also a little weird to use in this TV. They feel like rubber, but they are very clicky like keyboard keys. So yeah, down here we have some video and audio ports, including a VGA port. Seems to be standard RCA and S-video connections. And that's just on the front of this boy. The back has endless amounts of the things. And don't worry, we'll be at the back soon enough to see them. One other feature that this boy also has is that you can literally take off most of the front panels to reveal the massive speakers, of course. Speaking of the speakers, this TV has the best sounding speakers ever, probably because it's actually big enough to house full-size subwoofers. We also have lamp access under this panel. Okay, it just falls off. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, this TV is rear projection, so you have to replace the lamp sometimes, depending on how much you use it. Luckily, this one's still hanging in there, and that's good for when we turn this thing on. Anyways, now let's give this boy his panel back. There we go. This side also has a similar plate. It is only speaker access, so the plate on this is kinda pointless. But I guess if you really want to show off these giant speakers, go right ahead. Funnily enough, the audio actually sounds better when you take off the plates. Who knew plastic with holes in it could disrupt the sound flow? Let's go to the top of this big boy, shall we? On top of this boy we have a shelf. The manuals don't really say what this is made for, but I guess it means you can put whatever on it. This is actually where I had my tech storage for the longest time. And I believe you actually saw that in the bunch of old phones video. Anyways, let's show you guys the side. And yes, that is how thick this boy is. You can tell why I'm getting rid of this boy now because it takes up way too much space. Anyways, down here we have a vent. To prevent the TV from overheating, of course. And you're supposed to be able to open it, but I'm probably not doing it right. Yeah, I'll just stop now. So yeah, that's this side. And the other side is pretty much the same but without a vent. So I probably might not show it to you guys. But who really cares? I'll probably forget about it by the time I get to the other side. I'm more concerned about the back side of this boy. Because welcome to Port Heaven. If I can just get back here, God. So yeah. We have all the ports a TV from 2003 would typically have. We have the cable/antenna hookups, and a ton of RCA ports. Like, just look at all of them. Back here we also have a DVI port with 720p support. Yeah, that was good for the time. We also have some more components and a USB for the CD-RW drive that came with this boy. USBs didn't become a standard on TVs at least until 2009, so this boy is way ahead of its time. This label here just has the warnings and approvals. It also has the branding for most of the cards that can be put in this thing. And of course the Epson logo, can't forget that. Now let's get out of this corner before my legs fall asleep. Oh, and this side exists, if you care to see it. I already said there's nothing interesting to see here, so let's just get back to the front. Oh yeah, I haven't even shown you guys the storage under the TV. So anyways, this little slot right here used to house a CD drive. That's what the USB port in the back is for. And down here we have shelves for anything you want to hook up to the TV or store under the TV. And in typical early 2000s style, we get a glass shelf out of the deal. How kind of Epson. So yeah, that's the Epson Livingstation. Man, this thing is a work of art, isn't it? I'd say it still looks pretty sleek, in an early 2000s sort of way. Anyways, I'm sure you guys want to see this boy in action. And the remote's right over here, so why don't we give it a shot? The remote looks as good as the TV. Feels nice in the hand as well. Alright, let's turn this big old boy on. And let the waiting games begin. Yeah, we're gonna be waiting for a while since it's rear projection. Come on, old boy. Please turn on. I'm starting to see the text at the bottom of the screen. It hopefully won't be much longer now. You can tell that this boy is old. The pixels are starting to die out along the edges. It even has the old tube TV style noise when it can't get a signal. And yeah, this is basically what the TV looks like all the time, since it doesn't have a built-in receiver for TV stations and such. The color is all screwed up in this thing too, so that's why the noise looks green and not black or white. Although the text on the screen is always green. I mostly just use this thing to watch old movies on VHS and DVD. And I can tell you that was unbearable. And I also played games on old game consoles hooked up to this boy. My Chromebook was also hooked up to this once in a while, through the DVI port. And you can switch to that with the remote. The remote does everything, basically. So yeah, that's all there is to this boy. Not much, but it still is pretty sweet looking. Let's turn this boy off. And put his remote next to the others. It's gonna be so hard to get rid of this thing. I mean, it will make way for a newer TV that's actually watchable. But it's still gonna be sad to get rid of something that's existed as long as I can remember. Times change, I guess. And I am honestly overdue for a new TV. One that's not as big as this monster. I'm sorry, old Epson. You are just way too big for my extremely tiny room. But you'll always be remembered in my heart and in my camera roll, Epson. I'll still miss the days where you took 15 or so minutes to turn on. Or when he actually printed stuff. And you and all your different memory card slots will be missed. Yes, this thing really has a smart media slot. And compact flash isn't really compact. That's why I'm gonna miss this boy. No one would put SD card slots or printers in their TVs anymore. And to think that soon it'll be like everyone else in the world. A faceless TV with a brand slapped on it, and only 2 HDMIs. Who knows? Maybe I'll find an interesting modern TV. But that feels highly unlikely. Anyways, let's go like the Epson would have wanted, in style.